WCEG Network's Millennial Talk 2.0, multilingual intergenerational conversations. Today, we will have an hour with these awesome ladies talking about legacy for ladies. But before we get started, we are going to, I wanted to remind you that we are going to have this posted and streamed on 12 platforms, including social media and podcasting platforms for your convenience. So don't forget to add us on your Roku channel so you can check us out anytime, not just this show, but all of the shows on the WCEG network. And just so you are aware, the views of this show do not reflect the views of the network. So now that we've stated all of that, it is time to get started. I am very much so excited to have all three of you beautiful ladies here. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Well, Miss Nicole, it's morning where you are still, right?
Yes, it is.
Good morning to you. Okay, so I wanted to talk about legacy for ladies, and I thought you three ladies were perfect because, well, first of all, let me go ahead and introduce you. Miss Brittany Turner, that's Miss B. Content herself.
Hey.
And we have Miss Arlethia Financial Services right here.
Yeah.
And we also have the Nicole Johnson. So these ladies right here are in different parts of their journeys. And I believe that having someone at the beginning of their journey, someone's in the middle, and someone who's more experienced with the entrepreneurial journey, as well as balancing motherhood and social impact, I believe all three of you ladies make the perfect mixture of trying to reach our target audiences where they are and where they aim to be. So how are you doing today?
Good.
Absolutely wonderful.
Good,
How are
good.
you?
To be
I'm
here.
doing wonderful. It's been a rocky morning, but we're not gonna let the enemy stop us today. Not
Yeah,
today.
that's right. That's right.
So my first question is for all of you. Whoever wants to answer first. In juggling motherhood, a business, personal development, community impact, burnout is likely for many. How do you specifically adjust, reset, or address burnout?
Mm,
I guess I'll go ahead. Brittany, where you gonna go?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay, no, I thought you were saying something. So, for me, just kind of venturing into this beginning of the year, I would say it's been scheduling. Putting everything on your calendar has been key for me. And even some days it's tweaking it, but just simple, something as simple as having a calendar has been extremely important and new for me because I was the type of female to say, hey, I want to pop up. I don't want to schedule my hair appointment. I want to do all walk-ins, spur of the moment, and having a business, being married, being a mother. It's not possible.
It's impossible.
To be able to schedule and have a schedule for me.
Definitely. I would say the same thing. I think what's helped me a little bit more, other than the scheduling, is I think a lot of people would schedule or put stuff on the schedule, but they never go back and look at it. They never go check it. So I try to make sure I check my schedule right before I go to bed and then as soon as I wake up. And I try to wake up a little bit early. I think I'm usually the first person in my house to get up. I pray, I meditate, and I just try to give some time for myself. I love to go on walks, and it gives me a chance. I feel like being outside is like, I know people like going to the gym, but you know, you don't know what you're doing in the gym. It's kind of pointless. So if you're not
Nature.
with a trainer, for me, there's no point. But I feel like it's like you being one with nature and one with God and what He created and things. So like those are a few things that I do, but I definitely have to look at my schedule at night and in the morning. And before I make any commitment to anybody, I say, let me check my schedule because I will literally put something in place and then look at my schedule and be like, well, I thought that was a 1 instead of 11, and mess myself up. So
Oh
those
man.
things.
Yeah.
Like 10 instead of 11.
Yes,
We
definitely.
won't talk about 10 versus 11.
So we won't.
Listen,
We won't do that.
Mm-mm.
I agree that scheduling is the key. But I tell everybody, and what I do for myself is I schedule my self-care. just like I put my appointments and my medical doctor's appointments, and then I send it over to the Google Calendar, in which I have 3 or 4 alarms that remind me 2 hours ahead, 1 hour ahead, 30 minutes ahead. I'm getting
Me
there. I need
too. Me
reminders.
too.
But I do also schedule my self-care just like any other appointment. And the biggest thing that has been helpful for me to avoid burnout is implementing healthy boundaries. I've been around doing this since 2010. And as a mom, as a single mother who worked in the office 5 days a week, ran a business, a girl child and a boy child, so they bring on their own individual. Oh, Jesus, today is this what we do? This what you get? Mom, really? Yeah, so implementing healthy boundaries has been vital to avoiding burnout. But when I recognize that I'm getting burned out, actually being able to say no and step back and decompress, recognizing that that S on my chest is not for Superwoman anymore. She's retired. So all of the things that you ladies have said, plus, making sure that my boundaries are implemented and in place, and then making sure that I actually schedule. I like to do the walks outside. I love being by the water. I can't swim a lick, but I tell nobody. Shh, don't tell nobody.
Gotta like that.
Right.
But a good massage, a hot stone massage, which is on the calendar for Sunday, just so you know.
I like that.
Yes, I love it.
Those things.
Okay, so Miss Brittany, would you rather be called B Dot or would you rather be called Brittany?
Well, if we're gonna go on brand, we can go with B Dot.
Okay, Miss B Dot Content. So I know that you help established entrepreneurs grow through graphic design, content creation, and content strategy. So I know that you were talking about scheduling and the importance of that, but I was wondering, do you have any classes where you teach other entrepreneurs how to get started with this?
Yes, I actually, so I've been in content creation for a minute, but like I didn't really feel like I needed to do classes because I'm on social media very heavily, like through my stories, through my reels. You see me on your social media every day. But I've had multiple people ask me, like, are you gonna do a class? So I just implemented a class. I'm gonna start putting it out next week, but it will be for November 16th. And it's just really, I've learned that even through my process, everybody don't have this big amount of money to drop on people coming with a camera, flying to you and editing, because editing is expensive because it's very difficult. And it's not even that it's difficult, it's just time
Tedious.
consuming and very tedious. And or just knowing what to shoot, how to shoot, just even knowing to wipe off your camera lens, because that's a lot of the biggest issue with most people that I see. I'm like, your camera just need to be wiped off. That's good footage, but it's blurry. And so I think me having a class is not super expensive. It's not me physically coming to you, but it kind of can get you started until you can start making that revenue that you want and take it off your hands. Because even in my thought process is, you may not want to do it, but you may not have the money to do it. So at least you can do it until you have the money to do it. And most people, if you're not in the business, you don't want to have to figure out your social media and content. It's just, it's another job. It's another business. It's almost like you got
Full
two
job.
on your hand. And so to be able to kind of relieve some people, take some stress off of them by them actually knowing exactly what to do. And it's called content receipts, because I feel like I go to classes sometimes and I'm like, I don't feel like I've maybe got like a couple of little tips, but I still sometimes feel like I didn't leave with anything, or I don't know what next step to take. And so I just want to make sure that my class is going to allow people to say like, okay, well, I'm in this situation and I know that because I'm in this situation, this is the next step I need to take. But I'm a different person now. I'm in this situation. So I know what she don't know, but I don't know this. So now I know what next step to take. So just trying to make sure that people are just know what to do so they can get their business started, because it was very difficult for me. Like, I've been learning how to do social media for the past 2, 3, 4 years. and it's changing every day. It's growing in different ways. It's new platforms popping out left to right, and all of them have different quirks and things and tricks to kind of build on them. And to know all of those or try to grow in multiple platforms, it's just difficult. So I'm hoping, I know my class is going to help people, but I'm hoping I get enough people in so I can help enough people.
I like that. I like that. That's a great way to build a foundation for your legacy because, yes, your content will be there forever. But in this day and age, there's so much content out there. Having a course that's teaching is more strong than someone making a funny video or they dropped that reel 8 weeks ago or 26 weeks ago, as Instagram reminds us. So I wanted to transition to Miss Arlethia. So you are in the financial services industry, and I wanted to know what are some long-term financial goals that you believe everyone should consider?
Hmm. I think before we even get to goals, I think it's setting a foundation. And the reason why I say setting that foundation is because if you don't have a foundation, you're chasing goals that can not be protected, right? So if you have your foundation of understanding what it means to be properly protected as you're protecting your wealth, protecting your family, protecting the legacy that was probably passed down to you or that you're working to build. So that's setting the foundation. And then just understanding what it means to start saving where you are, and understanding that it's not a race, it's not a sprint. It's a it's kind of a journey. I don't even want to say it's a marathon. It's an actual journey. You start where you are, and you just kind of grow as you can with what you have and where you are. So those are the two things that I would say to just kind of start out with. Make sure you have a foundation, and make sure your family is properly protected with what you have, and then start to build out your savings plan from there. Did that answer?
Okay. Yes, it did. It did. Well, it didn't, but it answered another question that led to that question. So that was a great concept. So building on your question, or your response more so having a strong foundation, Miss Nicole, how do you view financial freedom in terms of helping women and other people build their wealth?
I take the perspective that in order to build your wealth, I first need to look at your history of how you got to the bad habits that you have that have prevented you from creating wealth when we come into contact. So I tell them all the time, I am not your therapist, but what we do is very therapeutic because in order to see where you are, I got to know where you come from, right? So when I look at your financial trauma, what did you learn? Who did you learn it from? And how did you learn it? Did somebody actually sit down and say, hey, Nicole, these are the bad habits I want to teach you? Or were you observant of their behaviors? Because just like kids, they're going to do more what they see you do versus what they hear you say. So when I look at how I help you build your wealthy woman lifestyle, I've got to help you break those financial traumas. I got to help you realize what it is. And then do a mindset shift with your money and your relationship with your money. So now we're looking at how do I pay down debt and save at the same time? Well, once I help you understand that savings is a must, right? You have to save because those rainy days, baby, they're coming. They are most definitely coming.
Yeah.
And so preparation is the key. And then once we start crushing that debt and we're realizing, Nicole, I really can save when I get intentional with what I spend on and what is on my budget. And when I make sound decisions, now I can start investing. But I don't really know about investing. Okay, where do you spend your money? Let's try to get some of that back. So the first thing I'm gonna do, how much are you spending in Amazon? Okay, can we buy some shares of Amazon versus spending on Amazon? And so when we start looking at the whole mindset shift of how we handle our money, now it goes from $100 in savings to $1,000 in savings. I have people that when they started with me, they weren't saving. I have one client, she was not buying her medication, and she's a teacher in Lower Mississippi. Now, not only is she buying her medication, she's paying for her dad's medication, and she's cruising 3 times a year. Okay, that is her outlet. So, but her savings is more on point than it has ever been, and she's 50 plus years old. So once you start to actually, I agree wholeheartedly with Arlethia that it is a journey. And so I start out in the beginning, I go back to your past, I bring you to your present so that we can redirect your future.
Okay, well spoken, spoken like a true author. Okay, so I do have a follow-up question for that. You were discussing how you start from the past, and so I know you said you have a retreat coming up in January, the 16th to the 20th, and you were talking about basically moving forward. So how do you use like, do you use anything to help you visualize how you are going to move forward and make the strategy?
I am big on vision boards. I wish our teachers, when we were in 1st and 2nd grade, started that concept. What do you want to be when you grow up? So when I tell you I want to be a doctor, or if I tell you I want to be a lawyer, you can see that passes on from my 1st grade teacher to my 2nd grade and my 3rd grade and on forward, so that by the time I get to high school, I know a track that I really should be following. By the time I get to college, I'm not an undeclared student because I'm trying to figure it out at the student loan debt rate that is killing us in my age group. So at the retreat, I have created a portable vision board. So it's about yay big. Let's just say the size of paper, like that. And I believe in now that since we are no longer at home on a continuous basis, take your vision board with you. Pick up your coat, your purse, your keys, and your vision board so that you can keep your goals in front of you. So during this retreat in Dallas, what we're going to do is we have several workshops where we talk about self-care. We have a couple that is kind of come in and talk about walking in our feminine grace, right? We got to turn off a little bit of that masculinity, but they're going to tell us how to do it. We have some fun workshops, but on Saturday morning, I teach a workshop on vision boarding. And so I help them create a portable vision board so that they can actually map out what their goals are. So I have 5 components. They get to pick 4, and finances is the main one because that's my specialty. And so what is it that you want to do? I want to buy a house. I need to crush out $50,000 worth of debt. So that's the end in mind, right? So that is the $50,000 is the visual. The house is the visual. How many what you want in that house? I want 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. I need upstairs, downstairs. It need a maid quarters. It needs all of those. Put it on the vision board. And then we walk back all the way to the beginning to create the roadmap to get to the end. So when they leave the vision board event, they're going to have a full strategy to create, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to save this amount, I need to pay off this amount of debt. Here's my amortization calculator. This is how I'm going to have it done. This is what I'm going to, here's my closing date. So I'm big on visuals. So that is what we will do at the retreat, is create that strategic roadmap so that when they leave there, they are fully rejuvenated, they are focused on their goals, and we're going to crush out 2025.
Yes. Amen. Okay, so it sounds like that would be something good to add to your workshop, not Nicole, I'm sorry, Brittany. It would be great to add something like that, like even if you do it after, like measuring metrics and stuff like that, depending on the platform for your clients. So I'm not saying you have to do it, but I'm saying that sound like when she said that, I was like, oh, this would be perfect for social media because I have my own vision for my social media marketing, but I don't have a specific like picture of what it looks like. So I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's 101. I do it, but
yes,
that's not in my classes, unless we
not in the class.
classes, and that's when I'm physically in person with you. It's just a little different.
Yes, ma'am. So I do want to share a little story because I have a question, at least a question. So um, before I moved back to the Atlanta area, I was teaching sign language and Spanish at a school with little rich Caucasian kids. And it was nice. Like they didn't pay me like they was rich, but like it was nice because I felt like I was doing what I felt like I was born to do. I didn't go to school to become a teacher. I accidentally fell in love with teaching. And so, in the process of falling in love with teaching them sign language and Spanish, I was getting ready to transition. It was 2020. Uh, it was 2020, and you remember the George Floyd situation, and so my students, the older students, we had a conversation-based class that day. And so everyone could only speak Spanish or they could only use sign language. So they could help each other figure out what they needed to say. And in doing this, I was like, oh, wow, I feel like I was born for this. But then I do follow a lot of deaf content creators on social media. I have a lot of deaf friends. And in the recent years, a lot of them have been speaking up about what they believe we shouldn't be doing as hearing people. We shouldn't be teaching their language. First of all, they believe it takes away jobs for them to be able to teach their language, their culture. And then also they believe that we're not going to do it as well as they can. So, I mean, with all four of us being Black women, we know what it's like for someone to steal something, but it don't even look right when they do it the way like they can't do it the way you can. So I was like, all right, I accept that. My goal was these kids are 5, 6 to 14 years old. And in 10 years, they're going to have jobs. And I want to make it to where a deaf kid their age can come in and apply for the same job and get the job too, because they're not going to be left out because of language deprivation. So I shifted, or I call it a pivot. I pivoted from teaching into another realm of being able to service the deaf community without being like offensive. Have any of you had a moment where you just had to pivot, where you thought that you were going to be doing something specifically, but life happened? Brittany?
Definitely. I was literally, my content was built around being a mom for the longest. And don't get me wrong, I'm a mom every day, so I don't need content to show that I'm a mom, but I just kept feeling like I wasn't in my right space. Like I just felt like I wasn't doing something right. And I continued to ask God, like, well, like I finally just was like, look, just smack me in the face, okay? Smack me in the face. Just tell me what it is. I take the bruise and whatever you need to do to like just literally turn my head to the direction it needs to be in, because I just felt like I wasn't. And because I'm very talented in so many different areas. Like I can do so many different things. I used to do hair, like, so it just was like, well, when you have so many different things that you're able to do, it's kind of hard to figure out, well, where do you align and where do you find that purpose at? Even though for me, purpose is not just you finding your purpose. I feel like you're supposed to bring purpose to whatever situation you're in, because you're in that situation for a reason. I learned that I wasn't, everything that I was doing kind of led up to what I should be doing. I created planners for 3 years. I still create planners. That's actually one of my main businesses other than content, is creating planners so that I can be on task, because I was so unorganized. And I feel like all those things, like we always feel like, oh, we're not supposed to be here, but it's a reason why you're there. I was creating planners and learning how to create planners because I was unorganized. I didn't know, I was all over the place, and it allowed me to be organized. I joined a multi-level marketing company because first I didn't have the energy or the anything to get me in a space or to get up and go. And that allowed me to not only be better for my kids and realize like, okay, well, I'm way too irritated in the morning. I'm not, being the best mother I can be. I don't know nothing about social media. And now because I'm in this multi-level marketing company, I'm learning so much about social media and learning that, reading books is going to be a good help to my growth. And it wasn't just, the company was just a selling company. It was about community. And now I learned about community, and all these different levels that I went through kind of got me to where I am now. And so when I finally decided, like, okay, this is what I'm doing, I literally, like I said, I had to be smacked in the face. I was literally like at my end. I was low on money and everything. And I'm like, okay, God said, write it out, make it plain. I wrote it out, made it plain, all the way down to the dollar amount I needed to not only pull myself out of a space where I felt like I can get myself in more debt if I don't do that, but also to buy certain equipment that I know I need to do my business with. And literally, I think I probably wrote down like maybe a sense away. And literally the next couple days, I was sitting in the bed, writing out my content for the next week, and money dropped in my account. The exact amount, literally a sense away from what I had asked for. And I was just like, oh, you funny. Real funny. And it's funny because I was like, you know what? When I get this money, I'm going to continue to sow seeds, and I'm going to continue to do this. And I mean, my church is online, so I couldn't grab my phone quick enough to drop that money in their account, that 10%. I was like, let me let me put this in here. That is not mine. You did this. And that's kind of what put me on my journey. And ever since I've been on this journey, small doors have opened up in different ways. And so I feel like we always feel like we're in a wrong place, but we're just where God needs us to be, to make sure that we know what we're doing, because he has to prepare us to walk through those doors. Just even with this interview, the fact that you hit me up after a year of not, speaking to you, or, hadn't seen you. And it's like, oh, well, he's preparing you for another door. He's preparing you to be able to do other talking events, to go to other places and teach people and do things like that. So it's all preparing you to be in the right space that you're supposed to be in. I never think you're not supposed to be where you are, even if it's difficult, because those difficulties are kind of showing you, like, you may find difficulties in your next space, and how are you going to handle it? Are you going to be okay with it? Are you going to be mad at God? Are you going to be mad at the people around you because you're in that space? Or are you going to stay steady, be patient, and continue to move forward? So I think every space is for a reason.
Wow, that was well stated.
Preaching this morning.
Go on, give it.
Look, I've been through
I
a
love
journey,
it.
okay? I've been through a journey of not knowing where I'm supposed to be at. And like I said, I've had a cleaning service, I've had a lawn care service, I've done hair. And people used to tell me that, like, you never stick with anything. You never, you never stay in something. And to one time, my friend was like, I respect that out of you. You realize this is not where you want to be, or it's not serving you anymore. And you know how to move and go into another space, and you're trying to figure out what's best for you. And some people get in spaces and they're stuck, and then they complain about it all the time because they just don't know how to get out that space because it's not for them. And so I've learned how to take my, as they say, not being, oh, you just need to get in something and stick with it. Like, if it's not sticking with you, you can't stick to it, period. If the tape done tape too many times, it's done. You have to learn how to move on, and just realize it's ready for a next chapter.
Okay, so I do know you have to go. You are a mom. But I do have one quick question.
Yes.
You have somewhere to be in a little while, but do you believe it's best to hire a social media marketing firm or a mass communicator? Why or why not?
You said, or a mass communicator?
Yes.
I feel like maybe a marketing firm, because I feel like if you have a marketing firm, they know how to mass communicate. Like, that's kind of, I feel like the same thing is like you only can market it to people. So you have to know how to communicate with people to market to them. So if you're a mass communicator, but you don't know what trends are going on, what's being done right now, because I have an 87-year-old mother-in-law who wants things to go back to how they are. Everything is different for her, and she's just so upset about it. And I'm like, you have to learn how to keep up with the times. It's not commercials anymore. It is social media now. You're not sitting at the commercials on the Super Bowl. Usually you probably picking up your phone during commercials to see what's going on for the Super Bowl. And that's just what it is now. And it's either you continue to dwell on what's going on, what used to happen, or you can move forward with everything else and not get left behind. And so many people, especially when you get to a certain age, you like, man, it ain't like it used to. Music ain't like it used to. This ain't like it used to. That ain't like it. Social media, so this and so. But everything has pros and cons to it. You know, like, yeah, we may know a lot more and it may seem like the world is so messed up right now. But in reality, like you don't see people getting hung no more. Well, yeah, you do, but it's
I
not.
mean, but not as often.
It's not accepted as much as it used to be. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's so many things that used to be amazingly horrible for our culture, for other cultures, and like, things are better. We are speaking up and we can speak up. We had a Black man president. We possibly about to have a Black woman president. Things are better. It's just that we're very much aware about it. So I think the question people need to ask is, do you want to not know and be in the dark, or know too much? And I would rather know too much, because now I know how to protect my family. I know how to move. But marketing is about staying with the times. Marketing is about knowing what to do to get to the right people, to the right audience. And I think mass communication is more people who just know how to communicate with people. But if you don't know how to communicate with people, you shouldn't have a marketing firm.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Well, I hope you have a lovely day. I hope both your kids win their games.
Yes, well, it's one game. But my daughter
winning, right?
Yes, that's why I'm in a t-shirt, y'all. Don't judge me. Okay, but I got my school pride on.
You look beautiful.
Have a lovely day.
Always have to represent.
Yes, and please connect, you lovely ladies. My social media is b.content on Instagram and b.content on TikTok. And I would love to connect, especially for financial reasons, because baby.
Absolutely.
I definitely know that my life is about to move differently, and I need to know how to have financial intelligence, because it's definitely different than regular intelligence. So please connect with me, you guys. If you send out an email, send out their social media, so I can definitely get in tune with you ladies.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. You have a beautiful Saturday, beautiful weekend. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully.
All right. Take care.
So, Miss Arlethia, there is, I think it's the EYL, Earn Your Leisure group, who stated having one stream of income is too close to no streams of income. And since you're in the financial services industry, I felt like this would be a good question, is how many streams of income is enough? Like, I know you must have several streams, but how many is enough?
I think that's really dependent on the person and what the value or that amount of income is bringing in. So if someone is able to consolidate services that they're able to yield 2 to 3 different, maybe 4 different streams of income, as long as they can manage that, then, the more the merrier. It's when you over exhaust yourself, or I think like Ms. Nicole was mentioning, you're investing, but you don't have the liquidity access, and you are being a little bit too risky, you're not securing, then that's when it goes into the position of not working for you. And now your multiple streams of income are still going out the window and not giving you security, protection, growth, and the ability to have legacy planning if that's what you're striving. So I think it's, to answer your question, it's what an individual is able to tap into and to manage in a healthy balance for themselves to accomplish their goals.
Okay, well, so in my senior year in high school, I had a conversation with my friend, and we both said millionaires by 30. Yeah. So next week is my birthday, and I'm turning 29, and that million is not that close anymore. Like, not as close as I'd hoped it'd be by now. So lately, the last, I want to say since August, late July, Every year I do a challenge leading up to my birthday. So I challenge myself to tick off those last few things of my to-do list, especially after reading the 12-week year. I make like I get stuff done. Like this year alone has probably been my best, my strongest year yet. I know next year's going to be even better, but this year alone has been pretty great. But going into writing my pre-birthday goals, like what my last 90 days, what do I need to get done? I was like checking things off, but I didn't feel like the sense of satisfaction that I thought I'd feel by now. Like I didn't feel that like you know what, I am financially codependent. Like me and my husband, we have a lot of stuff we need to work on. So like realizing like I wanted to move on some assets recently and having to decline like someone was going to give me a multi-million-dollar business and I had to decline it because my credit wasn't right, because I wanted to, like I had to use an SBA loan to get to acquire the business. So that like it hurt me mentally that I wasn't prepared financially. Like I expected by now. Like I could have been a millionaire by 30. That hurt me mentally. So I've been calling it a late 20s crisis of like I thought I would have this by now. But it has fueled me into making more smart decisions with my money. Like I recently said no to something. Like earlier, you were stating the importance of having those healthy boundaries. I recently stated no to something because I was like, to me, it doesn't make financial sense to do this. Like I know what my goals are, and saying yes to this would say no to me, and I'm going to be unhappy in the end. It's not a personal thing against you, is personal because I have to love me now. And part of my issue is I'm such a giver in a way that I'll give my last dollar if I have to give my, not have to, but I'll choose to give my last dollar and not know, like I know my gas tank is on E. I know God is going to make a way. I might not know how it's going to come. So my question is, well, I do want to state that recently I have felt my peace restored. I do want to make sure that's clear. But how have you used disappointment to fuel your actions and make different choices? And I want to start with you, Miss Nicole.
Child, listen. First of all, the one thing about goals is that when you need to shift them, don't be afraid to do so, because life is lifing every day that you open your eyes. Give yourself the same level of grace that you give everybody else. Okay. And that is one thing about women, is that we don't do that. We give grace to everybody else. We are so hard on ourselves. Okay. Because when I was 29, I was having a panic attack. What have I done with my life? I got these 2 children. I'm about to divorce this man. What, Lord, what am I do now? Okay. All my classmates had it when they turned 30. When they were turning 30, I was like, child, I've been through that already. That's over and done with. Okay. But when I started my journey to home ownership in early 2008, it was the most challenging thing that I had done in my life, because my credit was horrible. Let me say that. I went to this seminar and I just knew I was going to sit through it and they were going to say, okay, you got to have good credit. I sunk down. You got to have good savings. I went further down. You got to have a budget. Oh, I almost ran up out of there. I was like, but I'm going to stay because I know they're going to tell me all of how to do these things. I sit with this mortgage counselor and that man tells me, you'll never be a homeowner. What? I'm sorry, what did you say, sir? Yeah, you'll never be a homeowner. See, at that time, I was divorced. I was a single mom. I had filed bankruptcy twice. Okay. My salary at the Alabama State Department where I worked was below the poverty line. I was below the clients that I was serving. And that man told me I would never be a homeowner. I was like, bet. That's a challenge. I had a friend now. Every time you tell him there's a challenge, oh, he about to max it out. Do you understand me? And so that was my fuel, because my children were my why I was going to become a homeowner. And how dare you insult me? Because that meant insulting them, and you don't insult my kids. So that all of those circumstances together made me go head in. Like that was the day I printed my 30+ page credit report. I said I filed bankruptcy twice. My credit score was looking up at the challenge, at the score level. Like, how I get up there? Hey, hello, I need some help. Okay. But I used those setbacks so that my comeback would be so strong, powerful. The only testimony I could give was to God up above. And people still ask me today, how did you do it? I said, you're going to have to ask him, because whatever he told me to do, I did. I put 2 nonprofit programs together to help me. I put in $2,000 in their savings account. They gave me an additional $4,000 for leaving it there for a year. I was head down. That was in the spring of 2008, and 9/9 of 2009, I became a first-time homeowner. And I went back to that seminar, keys in hand, garage door opener, and the receipt from the cashier's check that took $602 and some change at the closing table. And I'm like, sir, remember me? Hello.
Wow, a whole year. Like,
A year
that's
and a half.
amazing. A year and a half. That's amazing.
I had to shift the goal, and I had to use that fuel, that thing that infuriated me was either going to make or break me. So I'm saying to you and your audience, when you are facing challenges that you think will break you, harness that energy and let it be the fuel to motivate you. You'll be successful.
Amen. So, Miss Arlethia, how have you used your personal experiences to start your business, your transition? Like, it seems like now you have just begun a new transition, right?
Yes, and this has all been actually fruitful for me to be able to be on this platform and also absorb, contribute and absorb. So for me, I think, gosh, it's almost like I'm in the making, right? I'm in the making. So it's personally, it is every day that you continue to push forward, to continue to, expand and grow. One, expand within yourself, because like Miss Nicole was saying, that, hey, you have these goals set. Are my goals strong enough? Are my goals challenging me enough? Or are those goals too, or am I not ready for those goals? So I feel like right now I am in the making. And I'm constantly going through those day-to-day moments where I still may sometimes have a high, I may have those lows, but I continue to just stay motivated and continue to challenge myself and let those daily disruptions continue to fuel me and to continue to move forward and just putting one foot in front of you.
Recently, we had a conversation when you were discussing some changes that you're doing, like for social impact in your area. We live in the same area, and they built like 3 gas stations on the same street where we already had 3 gas stations on the same street within a mile and a half of each other. So we're like, I've been complaining about this. Like, we don't need more gas stations. We need somewhere where our kids can be safe. We need somewhere like a community center. We have too many empty buildings. So moving forward with that initiative, what do you hope to obtain?
So I'll answer that question, but then I also wanted to go back to something that Ms. Nicole said earlier when it came to doing vision boards, and this hit home for me because I envision vision boards, but I don't do vision boards, not because I don't want to, but I just don't. So, or I haven't. Let me say that. So when she mentioned doing vision boards for kindergartners and let that go with them, I'm like, that's something, going back to what you were saying, Ness, it's community driven. We put that in the school system. We let our schools know, hey, we want to see our kids do this. We want to see our kids start with a vision board. Let that vision board carry on with them from 1st through 5th grade, from middle school, because middle school is a milestone, right? That's a milestone. So now they need to be reminded of what they envisioned when they were kindergartners, and let that continue to grow with them. So going back to the community, when these kids are being reminded of what they're capable of doing, and they're growing into the community, and then they have a community that is instilling back into them and giving back and providing the resources and the I'll say, like you said, no more gas stations. I'm saying no more storage units, right? But having a fruitful environment where they don't have to go to another community to go shopping, or go to another community to go to a learning center or a community center. It's right here, tangible, something for them to do, not just to walk and stroll up and down the street. So I think to answer your question is, I just hope for that to be something that brings not only accessibility for what we need in our community, but also money to the community. We put money outside of our community because we go places and spend money for what we don't have right here. And we have so much real estate that is just sitting and it lies dormant. And then next thing you know, it's a storage unit. Well, who said they wanted a storage unit? Who said that we want another gas station? You know, so I just hope for that to build up, and it strengthens the community so that we can strengthen our schools, because if we don't have money in the community putting back into the community, that means our schools are lacking. If our schools are lacking, that means our children are lacking. If our children are lacking, how are we going to remind them what they want it to be, what they want to do?
I do have a question to follow up with that one. So is it okay to ask children what problems they want to solve in addition to what do you want to be when you grow up? So to give them a little more perspective, or should we focus on what they want to be when they grow up?
I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's that. Actually, I never thought of it that way. Yes, we should be asking them what problems they want to solve, and I think me having a 7-year-old, she tells me what problems she wants to solve, and it's all in her explaining or even sharing different things that she experienced maybe on a daily basis. So yes, I think it's applicable to ask them because that empowers them.
Awesome. And Miss Arlethia, I mean not Miss Arlethia, Miss Nicole, you have 2 older kids, so they're not 7 anymore. So what what do you think that would be helpful in that transition from going to middle school to high school? Are they out of high school now?
Yes, they are grown and gone. Yes, amen. Lord, yes.
So
Um,
did you implement vision boards with them before they graduated?
I did to a degree. As far as what is it that you want to do? What is it that, so it goes directly into what Arlethia said about empowering them to follow their goals and dreams. And I'm just going to go back to what she said about children, not just asking what do they want to be when they grow up, but what problem do they want to solve. It will take away the old adage of what happens in this house stays in this house, because kids today are experiencing so many different things that we did and some that we did not experience. So you give them an outlet to say, I want to solve X. And that should alert somebody. Why is this child at 5 wanting to solve X? How would they know about X if they're not seeing X?
Exposed, yeah.
And X could be some stuff that at 5 years old, at 55 years old, nobody should know. So one of the things that I try to do in working with women with their money, what I've discovered is that student loan debt is a problem for the majority of Black women. We represent 2/3 of the nation's student loan trillions of dollars of debt, because we're constantly going back for another degree and another degree and another degree, because we're trying to compete. And so the level of student loan forgiveness that we see now, we will never see again, not in our own lifetime. Okay. So how do we stop or prevent our children from having that same problem? So I teach a scholarship readiness masterclass so that our high school students can start stacking scholarships for college in 9th grade. So that if you follow this plan for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you should have a decent amount of money set aside so that when you go to college, I'm not saying don't get student loans. I'm saying don't take all that they're offering, take just what you need. And so I try to prepare parents and their high school students that way. I worked with my own kids in implementing work from home strategies, teaching them how to learn how to build something that a job doesn't have its name on. Because I be pre-pandemic, I was telling everybody, these jobs ain't loyal. Y'all better get something with your own name on it. Because they will lay you off for profits. They choose profits over people 24/7. Okay. Even when the office is closed and on the weekends, they are choosing profits over people. So we were taught, go to school, get a good education, retire, and hopefully you don't have to become the Walmart greeter. Okay. But now we have an arena where we can teach children about entrepreneurship, about being self-employed. Don't go work for that company. Learn all you can and then build your own, make it better. So I believe in preparing our students, even as early as middle school, especially, what is it that you want to do? What's that problem you want to solve? Let's put them in a mentoring program. You got sororities and fraternities that offer those opportunities. And let me put a plug.
I saw that triangle.
Okay, you saw that triangle. All right, they're all right back there. And you got something back there for the gentleman. And it's beyond the strolling and the stepping, it's about the mentality. What is it that you can do that's yours so that not only you propel yourself forward in your education and your finances, but how can you also in turn give back to your community?
Ladies, we are getting low on time. I do want to make sure that our viewers can reach you. Ms. Arlethia, what would be the best way for our viewers to contact you?
So they can reach me personally. Number is 678-933-4027, or you can email me at aljoneswillis@thewillisapproach.com. And just to, once again, add on to what Ms. Nicole was saying is that when it comes to that college education planning, we do offer also financial strategies that help with the flexibility of doing that, because not all kids choose to go to college, but maybe they want to start their own business. So being able to know how to save and build and save and build for those types of milestones, whether that's college, whether that is starting a business, buying your first home, we offer and help with those strategies. So I just wanted to piggyback off what Ms. Nicole said. But yes, that's how you can reach me.
And Miss Nicole, I didn't even do your full intro. Like I planned, like I practiced, but how the day started. So let me go ahead and reintroduce you. So this is the Nicole Johnson, author of Rebellious Riches, founder of Girl, Your Money Matters, and host of the Wealthy Woman Lifestyle podcast. And she teaches women to define and achieve their goal of financial freedom so that they can live their life on their own terms. And I know she stated that in several different ways across the questions we've had today, but I did want to make sure that our viewers do know that you are an author. You said you have 2 books out now, right?
So I've been into anthologies, but I released my first solo project the top of this year called Rebellious Riches in January. So I self-published that book. It teaches you how to break the chains of financial dependency so that you can take control of your own destiny.
Awesome. And I did want to make sure that Arlethia, that we get your number again and your email so that we can so that our viewers can contact you again.
And I'm inputting that into the chat as
well. Okay, awesome. And well, thank you all for coming today. I hope I asked you all the questions that you needed to be asked. Is there anything that you would like to ask me in this moment?
Go ahead. No,
Oh,
go
no.
Arlethea.
Okay. I was just going to say, and I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. And
Thank
um,
you.
it's been nothing but a joy and a pleasure since we met at the community library. And our children, both of our girls' names is named Nova. So that was so, but it's been amazing just knowing you and the light that you just bring to the community, and it's so refreshing. And I'm just appreciative to have connected with you and continue to get to know you and all that you expound, because I just look at you like just a ball of just specialness. I can't even just put, because it's just so much, and you
Thank
can't
you.
limit you, right? There's no limiting you because you have so much in you that you give to the world and to society. And I just appreciate
Thank you.
Mm.
And for you, Miss Nicole,
I'm
did you
gonna
have any
say,
questions for me?
well, we met at the Woman Evolve conference a few weeks ago, and it really is a testament because I was gifted a ticket the night before, and at the time that we bumped into each other, she was taking pictures of someone else, and I was, oh, can you take a picture of me in front of here, please? And so it just started the conversation. And she was, of course, in her inquiring minds, want to know, what do you do? And so I told her the very thing that she just read is teaching women about living life on their own terms when it comes to their finances. And she's like, you got to be on the podcast. You got to come on the show. And so to you, I will say, it's not necessarily a question. It is a push from one Black woman to another that I have a young lady who is also in the same arena. And she says that this is our way to tell our stories. And I add on to it by saying that if the stories are being told incorrectly in 40, 50, 60 years, it's our fault because we have the platforms now. So I want to encourage you to stay on task no matter what the challenges are. If you have to come in here and talk a whole hour by yourself, if you have to have a repeat guest, I don't care. Keep moving forward because your voice needs to be heard. And I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you inviting me to be a part of this. And I would love to come back to be a part of it with you again to support you. But I also want you to know at any time that you need a listening ear because those frustrations are going to happen. We are getting close to a very pivotal election, and you're going to start to see a whole lot of things that are going to try to derail you and what you're trying to accomplish. When you told me that you work with the age group that's a little bit younger than where I start, that's very instrumental in our future. Our kids are our future, the children are. So when you need a listening ear, because I heard it so many times that entrepreneurship can be lonely, please do not hesitate to reach out to say, I just need to vent. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what my next steps are. From one sister to another, you have a shoulder, you have an ear, you have support. I see Arlethea is over there nodding, so I assume she is on board. I want you to keep going and do not ever give up.
Thank you. Thank you.
you. I do agree.
Well, ladies,
Miss Arlethea, we gonna talk after. I already wrote your name and information down. Don't worry about that. I plan on
Yeah,
connecting with
call
both
me.
of you afterwards. But just so you know, they can also reach me on my YouTube channel at Wealthy Women Lifestyle. If you just search at Wealthy Women Lifestyle, we're doing the same thing, and I want to support you and bring you on over on my side to kind of just let your head
absolutely.
down a little bit. Let look, tilt that. I'm down in Texas, so they everything done big in Texas. So I would love to have you come on board because my viewers that are in your age group need to see you out there doing what you feel is best, because I want to hear your story, how you got started, what brought you here. Okay, so I would love
Thank
to
you.
continue this collaboration because that's what it's about. This is how we get Black Wall Street back in our community.
Right, I love it.
Amen. Well, thank you, ladies, for such an awesome show, especially Miss Brittany Turner, who is already probably at her game for today, as well as you, Miss Arlethia, and you, the Nicole Johnson. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for coming on the show today.
All right, thank you for having me. You guys have a wonderful day.